The Hamilton Wentworth Catholic District School Board is situated upon the traditional territories of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Mississaugas. This land is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We further acknowledge that this land is covered by the Between the Lakes Purchase, 1792, between the Crown and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation.
Good morning. Please join me in the sign of our faith. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Gracious God, you have gifted each of us with unique potential to do good for the human family. Help us to use our gifts for the glory of your holy name. Help us to empower the giftedness of others. May we work together with our different gifts to create your body here on earth. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Good morning, Titans, for September 9th, 2021. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Adriana Van Berkel and I am your Student Council President. I have already been asked by so many people when we will form our Student Council. We do not have a specific date yet, but nominations will be due by the end of next week. It would be a great idea to start thinking about what position you want to run for and any campaigning ideas you may have. Please follow us at BT Stuco and more information will be coming. And now, please listen carefully for our sports announcements. Boys varsity baseball tryouts will be held Friday at 3 p.m. Please bring your own gear and please sign up for tryouts outside room 107 today. More details to come. Junior boys volleyball tryouts will be held Friday at 2:45. Sign up is outside Mr. Maga's office. Midget and junior girls basketball tryouts will continue today at 2:15, and the senior girls basketball tryouts will be their last one today at 4:15. Girls wishing to try out for the varsity field hockey team are asked to sign up today outside the Physette office and tomorrow, and tryouts will start Monday after school. And now I welcome our new Vice Principal, Mr. Lombardi, and we will be leading this morning's grade level assembly. Please be seated.
Thank you, Madam President. Look forward to working with you this year. So, hello, everyone, and good morning. And we're going to try to make this as quick as possible. I know it's going to be a a long kind of assembly. We're trying to get everyone together into one so we don't have to do this 4 times. So I'm going to make this more generic for the whole school. But there will be other times when we come on to the announcements to talk to you, specifically if it's grade specific. We'll try to announce that maybe at the end of an announcement day and say, please, if it's the grade 12s, keep yours on, and then we'll speak to them specifically. So we don't take up time from everybody in every grade. So I really want to thank everybody for cooperating and for being flexible with these last couple of days. Today was a little bit better with everyone getting into the school, with the buses being worked out. Hopefully by the end of the day, we'll get that sorted out also. And the waves will happen as fluidly as they should. This morning, there was a little bit of a backup, but I believe we should be good. If there's an issue with a class that's near you or something, and say, for example, the teacher's not there, please inform the main office so that we know that we can send somebody there to take care and supervise. Okay, so first off, let's get this started. Welcome to another school year. Yesterday, Miss Gingrich and myself went into hopefully every single classroom in the first period, and we were able to see every student. We have a special welcome to all our new Titans in grade 9. The new year means a fresh new start for all of us, especially those who are new to the school and those that have not been face-to-face until now. This has been the first time for some people to be in the school for a very long time. We have lots that we're going to cover as a review for everyone. Some things may be new for those who are new and haven't been here for a while, and some may just be review for those. Some of you may be, I've been here all along, this is old hat, and I know what's going on. Just please pay attention because some things may have changed. Please make sure you review the agenda, which is on the school website. There are little changes that still have to be made on it, but the rules specifically and the policies that are in there, those have not changed. Those still remain the same. Other than changing some names, things like the uniform policy or how we deal with discipline, that is exactly the same. That has not changed. We will leave it to each classroom teacher to go over the plagiarism rules because I know that in some subject areas, things may apply differently. So one of the main things that I say when I'm addressing the student body is that not knowing the rules and expectations is not an excuse. You can't use that as an excuse. You can go to the agenda. I'm going to be talking to you today about this, and we're going to be making sure that you have other opportunities to see the information as things develop throughout the year. We expect everyone to adhere to the expectations of the school board and the school. Okay, so if we move to you're probably seeing the PowerPoint on this one here. It says, be informed, stay connected. I hope I got these right. It is a new school for me too. I put in the BT website, the Twitter, Instagram, BT Titan News. So please, any information that you can get, check those. If you're not connected to those, make sure you start to follow because lots of information are sent to those sites. Uniforms and dress code. So on this slide here, it says dictionary.com defines uniform as identical, consistent, without variation in detail. So when you're in the building, you're in uniform. This includes from the time of arrival to the end of the day, lunch periods included. If you choose not to wear the uniform on a continual basis, it's defiance. It becomes now 2 things. You're out of uniform and you're being defiant to the authority of the adults in this building. That's 2 things that are suspendable. So we don't want you to go that way. Everyone was great yesterday. There were a few people I just said take off the sweater that wasn't BT wear. You have to make sure those extra sweaters are not there too. And if I have to tell you multiple times, now you're being defiant. The rest of you is in uniform, but that piece that you're wearing is not uniform. We need to keep it consistent. We need to know if someone's in this building that does not belong here. Especially with us seeing new faces, we got to make sure we keep control of this. There is at the bottom of this, it says on BT website, there is a spot that you can go take a look at the uniform policy. You should already have looked at that and you should already know. Traveling in the hallways, you need to be in uniform. Just because you're not in the classroom doesn't mean you can just go from class to class out of uniform and then in class you're in uniform. You're in the building, you're in uniform. That's very clear, I hope. Repeated offenses will lead to suspension. If you keep doing that, then we will suspend you and we will call home. If there is an issue with your uniform, of course, I know that there is some backlog and we're going to do our best to accommodate that. You need to let us know because we actually have slips that we could, or something we can write for you so your teacher knows, it's going to be 2 days before I get my uniform pieces. So 1 piece is going to be out. You can let us know and we will sign that off for you. You shouldn't just be walking around. Come into attendance and check that with us. Ask your teacher first before you come down. Uniforms and dress code that goes further. Hats, caps, bandanas, hoods, any kind of picks, sunglasses, any kind of other headgear that should not be worn in class or around the building. No flip-flops, no sandals, those are not permitted. You have to have a closed shoe. That's for health and safety reasons. I think for the most part, I didn't see anybody with flip-flops or sandals yesterday, so hopefully that doesn't happen. No logos on your shirts if you're wearing something that the white and black t-shirt that you're wearing for whatever reason. I know you can wear that underneath the collared shirt. You shouldn't be wearing that alone. Gym bags and backpacks on the bottom of this. I know it says left in lockers, but we haven't worked that out yet. So they are coming with you to your classroom, but please make it so it's not a hazard. Take your stuff out when you're in your classroom that you need for that class, close it up and put it aside. It shouldn't be just all opened up all over the place. This isn't your bedroom. This is a classroom where teachers are conducting their professional work, and they expect you to also be professional students and making sure the space is clean and they're able to walk up and down the aisles. If you notice, there's a third slide having to do with uniforms. Am I making my point? Uniforms are really big. When it comes to Spirit Days, it must be an approved BT wear. You have to have the logo on Spirit wear. It can't just be just whatever you feel like it. It has to be identified piece. It can't be torn or ripped. You can't have inappropriate logos on that. If it's not Spirit wear, then you're in regular uniform. That's the option. We will let you know when we start having Spirit Days. We'll have a discussion with the admin team and we'll figure out what we're going to do, and we'll let the student body and the teachers know when we will follow through with that and start that. Hopefully it'll be very, very soon, but the first few days, there's a lot going on, and I think the last thing we're really thinking about is Spirit Wear Day at this point. Hopefully we can let you know by next week. The next big thing, which is going to be attendance. If you are absent, parents should call the school messenger. You have to bring a note the next day, or you call attendance. There's 3 different ways you can deal with this. Those notes are kept on file if you do bring them in the attendance office, but all of this should be done prior to your return. It shouldn't be done the day of, because then there's a lot of backed up people trying to get to classes and stuff, because we don't know how many people will be away on any given day. So please try to get that accomplished the day before. School messenger is the best way to do it if the parents are doing that online. If you become ill during the day, report to the office. Being ill in the washroom is not an acceptable excuse for being absent. You need to come see us so we know. And a big thing, because of COVID, we really need to know. Students cannot leave the building without signing out through attendance or an administrator. Lunch is the exception, of course, or you're going walking with your class for a break or something like that. So that's fine at that point. Students cannot be signed out and be in the building. Your parents cannot sign you out so you can be in the library or to be somewhere else because you have an assignment to finish. Only administrators can give that permission. You're on school property. We have the right to do that. Your parents can't do that for you. If you're signed out, you leave the building. If you are sick or showing symptoms, you must stay home. That's really important. As public health, we have protocols we must follow. All students completing the daily COVID-19 screening before you enter your classes. You guys know this. This is just a reminder. If you are sick, a teacher will call down to attendance, and a VP, whenever possible, will escort the student down to the attendance office isolation room. If you're planning to change your timetable, you still need to go to your scheduled classes. So this has to do with the attendance part, a little bit aside from the COVID. You can't just be avoiding the class and waiting to try to change a class, because that tells us you're not our student. Because until you go to a class and you're in attendance, you're in pre-reg. That's what we call it. That means you're not our student yet. You have to go to your classes until you make a change. And the other thing is, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a change. And if you don't go for 2 days, you've missed a whole week of school. So you need to go to class regardless of whether or not you're waiting for a change. Some other COVID protocols to continue on with this. Everyone knows you need to be wearing your mask daily when you're in the building. You need to complete your screening prior. You need to keep socially distancing yourself from others. And this is the big one right here. No hanging out in the hallways. This is the thing. We're all back as a full school. Everyone is here. 1,300 students, minus the few that are online still. You can't just be hanging out in the hallways. You have to go directly to your classes when you enter this school. Because if we don't do this, then it's possible that we could get a spread of COVID, and then things will start getting shut down. We don't want that to happen. So take your direction from us and go to class. There's no gathering in the washrooms. When you're not in class, you can be outside in the caf, or if your class was designated to be there, traveling to the classroom or a location where you have an appointment. Obviously, those are okay, but teachers will be keeping track of that, so we know where you are in case we have to track if you're in an area where someone has contracted and is positive for COVID-19. Keep washing your hands, use a sanitizer. Obviously, don't share drinks, don't share vapes, don't do any of that stuff, because that's like pretty much like you're kissing someone, and there you go. You could pass on COVID-19. If you're sick or showing signs in the morning, stay home. Don't complete the screening and then just decide, well, I'm going to go in anyway, because if a teacher sees that you're sick, we're going to send you home. So please be preemptive with that. Don't come in if you're sick. Attendance, when it comes to lates, 1 to 5 is dealt with by the teacher, and then they will deal with their procedures that they have for their protocol. The 6th late, you get sent to the VP. At that time, we will review the late policy with you, and there could be consequences at that point. I hear a lot of stuff like, oh, sir, can I have a warning? Can I have a warning? You know the rules. I'm telling you right now, this is your warning. Once you get to the 6th late and you come down to the office, you've had lots of warnings. So there won't be any warnings at that time. Parents will be contacted. It could result in some kind of penalty work, but we will see to that. If you get too many lates, that can end up being a neglect of duty, and that is suspendable. So please, if there is an issue for the lates and there's a reasonable explanation, obviously if buses are coming in late, we're not going to hold that against you. But there's always something you need to connect with us and let us know if there's something that's happening consistently so we can see how we can help. You have to talk to us. If you don't talk to us, we don't want it to get to the point where it becomes discipline. Inappropriate behavior, we do have a thing called progressive discipline. And so that is how we, first time something happens, if it's within a means of something that is small, we'll give a warning, we'll talk about it, we make note of it, and then the next time it could end up in a suspension. There are events that happen that are automatically suspendable. Repeated offenses obviously will become suspendable. When you're on property, you need to follow the rules of the school. If we're having an event off school property, which I hope we're able to do at some point soon, you're still obliged to follow the school rules, no matter where you are when you're in a school event. Don't be forging notes. Don't be calling the school and pretending to be someone else. Our clerical are very good at listening and listening to the tone. Your voices, even though you don't think it, really sound young. All right, so we can tell the difference. So please don't do that, because forging notes, that's also a legal offense, and that could be a suspension also. Students not reporting to the office if they're asked by a staff member, and that would be a number of different people, teachers, custodial, it could be clerical, whoever it is. An adult member in this school is a staff member. You need to listen to them. They ask for your name. You need to give your name. If it's a misunderstanding, we'll deal with it, but you don't want to escalate something, because that becomes defiance. And that, again, like I said before, is suspendable. We don't want to go there. So there's zero tolerance for this, and for alcohol, drugs, fighting, bullying, any kind like that. Zero tolerance. We want to be able to stay in this building and be safe, so let's try and keep it safe, and everyone else has to participate in that. Hallways and lunches. All students are expected to be in all of their scheduled classes. During lunch, students will eat in their second period class. That means teachers that are leaving their classroom, if there's a class in there, you need to leave it unlocked, because the students will be going in, because the teacher who's in that classroom will be on lunch also. There are some designated classes in the cafeteria. Those the teachers have been identified and they have been notified, so they know that they can go down there. In the cafeteria, the number of tables are set up. When you're sitting in the seats, you have to be facing the doors. You can only face one way. You can't face both ways, and you need to be spread out unless you're from the same class. If you are from the same class, then you can sit together like that, but you're going to be taking your masks off to eat, so you got to watch that you're socially distancing again at that point. Other areas to be during lunch, off campus. If you leave, that's absolutely within your rights. Outside by the tables, and I didn't see this morning whether or not they're there. We're supposed to have picnic tables delivered. There'll be a lot out there on the grass, and so that's where you can be also. You can't be wandering the halls. I said that before. And you're not in the foyer. I know a lot of people are kind of sitting on those benches. The foyer is not an area, because that's a hallway, and also there's a lot of people who are trying to line up to go into guidance for changes, and that will leave too many people in that area. We're always thinking of trying to stop the spread. That's why these rules are here. Exterior doors, for the most part, most of them will be open. There will be a number of doors that will be closed because you really don't need 6 doors in one spot and then the next stairwell to be unlocked. So that stairwell beside the back doors will be locked. The one in the front by the stairwell will be locked because we do have lots of doors right there. The door between the staff room and the chapel, we're gonna lock that door, but pretty much everything else would be unlocked for you to get in. Please do not prop doors open there for safety reasons that are being locked also, so just leave those. The next slide talks about locker assignments, but then I have right underneath that, no locker use for now. I'm not gonna go through all the rules of the lockers because we don't have them yet, so I don't wanna waste any time on that. So we're gonna pass by that slide. Drills and evacuations. There's gonna be multiple drills this year. There's gonna be the fire drills, the lockdown drills. Please take all of these seriously. They could save your life. Remain calm, follow instructions of the staff, remain silent, especially if it's a lockdown, and make sure you're turning off your electronic devices. If we're in a bomb threat drill or if it was a real situation, you wouldn't be wanting to be on your phone because it's an electronic device. Electronic devices are what's used to set them off. So that's the logic behind that, not using that. The only reason that someone should be calling 911 is if you have pertinent information that you think the police need to know regarding what just is going on at that time. We will let you know when the drills will happen. Those will be planned out and those will come up from the admin office. And we'll give you just on the days of information during announcements in the morning to help out with what's gonna happen that day. The smoking, vaping, juuling sign, all of this, no smoking in any shape and form allowed on school property. It is illegal for you to smoke on school property. Most of you are not 18. Almost all of you are not 18. You're not allowed to smoke. If you're caught smoking on school property, you will be suspended. We're not going to give warnings beyond today. That is done. And if you're defiant and if this is a repeat offense, stuff like that, we have absolutely the authority and the power to send your name and submit it to bylaw, and they can give you a $300+ ticket. And if this becomes an issue, we will do that. Hopefully it won't. With starting the new year, I hope you guys will have a good start to this and start with a clean slate and don't go down this road here of smoking in any shape or form. Bullying includes physical, psychological, social, or academic harm, harm to the individual's reputation, or harm to the individual's property, or creating a negative environment at a school for another individual. That includes staff and students. Anybody who's in this building. The behavior could include physical, verbal, electronic, cyberbullying, written or other means. We take this seriously. Bullying will not be tolerated in any form. Now, this is the thing. We want you to come tell us if there's something going on. And a lot of people are going to say, oh my gosh, I'm not going to snitch. Well, let me tell you something. The term snitch is a way for those people who are bullies to control you. So that's what gets out there. That is a control mechanism. If someone says, oh, you're not going to be a snitch, they're trying to control what you do, and you don't want to give that power to them. If we know what's going on, then we can deal with it. If we don't, we're oblivious. We don't know what's going on unless we, got our ear to the ground and we're just on top of that. We hear everything coming down the hallway. You need to tell us if someone is bullying you. We will determine at that point if it could be considered bullying. We will be determining at that point to pull in people if we have to speak to them, give warnings, whether or not it's something we have to call the police over, because there's been many times where I've called the liaison officer in because there's been things that have been on social media that have been very highly inappropriate, and then they've taken action. I have no problem doing that. All right, so please stay away from that. I really don't want to get into having to deal with that kind of stuff this year, but I do deal with it, just so you know. So this goes to the bullies. Bullies are weak, and they want to control people by intimidating them. We will not stand up for this. We will not be bystanders, and I hope that the rest of the staff and students will stand with me and not stand for bullying. All right? Other things I'll just do quickly on this, it's sexting, sending out pictures and very inappropriate things is not something you should be doing. Sending out pictures of nudity is considered pornography, and if it's someone under the age of 18, then it's child pornography. And that is definitely something we call the police in for. And then that's out of our hands. It's an investigation that goes to them, and you could be charged. Who knows what can happen from that point. Don't engage in any of that. If someone sends you something, delete it, all right? because you then don't want to be sending off, say, well, I got it from like, 3 other people. Doesn't matter. If you're caught with it on it, you're the one that's going to deal with it and deal with the police. So please, please save yourself and don't just delete that stuff if it comes to you. Electronic devices is for educational purposes. Please follow the instruction of your classroom teacher. They're the ones that will determine what happens in their classroom. So please listen to them. The school is not responsible for lost or stolen devices. I'm just checking out my time here, and I think we're doing pretty good. We're getting through this. School culture. What kind of school do you want to create? This is more of a positive thing. I know I've talked a lot about the discipline stuff and trying to be, on top of all the things that could go wrong, but let's keep our community clean. Let's throw things into the garbage bins, especially because of COVID. We don't want to be touching anything that someone else has had. The staff are not supposed to be cleaning up after you in your classrooms. If you're having lunch there, you're supposed to be touching what's on your table and throw it out. And this can include everything that's outside. We're going to have all those picnic tables out there. We want it to be clean and nice for you. So be part of the community. Do your part. If you're going to the park, try to stay off the little jungle gyms and stuff. That's for the little kids. We don't want to hear complaints from the community. And believe me, they do call. Obviously, there's grassy areas where you can play and stuff like that, and to have some time out. And I mean play in the sense of just to have time with your friends and socialize. But please be aware of what's going on. We are in a community here with houses, and we want to show them a good face that, look, all the students are back, and look, there's no problems. They're acting great. This is the BT community, and look how fantastic they are. That's what we want to get out there. We want you to take pride in our school, because this is your school too. School culture also includes equity. So equality is sameness. Equity is fairness, and we're about fairness, about making students have the same opportunities. We want to be aware of those who are around you, treat them with respect, regardless of the differences. Everybody is different. Every one of the students in the school and every staff in the school is different. We need to treat each other with respect and embrace the differences, no matter what they are. I can't even go through the list because there would be so many that would be on the list. But we are an inclusive board and therefore an inclusive school. Previously, I was a teacher here at BT. I taught here for 11 years before I became a VP. And I know how great this school is. And I want to be a part of it again. I requested to come back here because I know how great of a school it is. And I want to be a part of it continuing on in that way. So this is our chance. We haven't really been here as a full school for a year and a half or more. And this is our chance to make it that great school that it was, and to continue to be like that, and maybe even step it forward and kick it up a notch. And you need to be a part of that to make that happen. And with that comes to another sign about respecting all staff. That is a big part of this too. Teachers, secretaries, custodians, any cafeteria staff, library staff, school bus drivers. We have a lot of new ones. Everyone knows the chaos that happened yesterday. It's because everyone's new. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't have the information that they needed. Hopefully today they have it all, and it'll be much more fluid. We posted some signs in the back for you when it comes to that, so hopefully that would be answering any questions. If you're asked your name, you must provide it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're in trouble, but if you refuse and then it become defensive and do all kinds of stuff, that could get you in trouble, so please avoid that. If asked to go to the office, just follow through on the direction. It could be just something that we need to deal with, and we'll go from there. This next slide, if there is issues going on, there are a lot of students in crisis, and there are a lot of adults that can be in crisis too. Everyone is going through a tough time right now and have been for the last year and a half. Some people may not show it, but the inside, they can be doing flip-flops and everything, and just they're getting through day by day. We need to be aware of what's going on around us. If you see someone that may be having some issues, if you're talking to them, maybe try to get them to come forward, to come talk to somebody, maybe be a listening person, someone to listen to them, just to find out how they're doing, and be sincere. I know a lot of times we can walk down the hall and say, hey, how you doing? And someone says, fine, and they keep walking. Is it really fine? Or should you change that to maybe, you know what? Things have been better, but you know what? I think I'm good for today. I can get through this, whatever. And then maybe that could open up conversation. Be honest with each other, so that we're not going to have a situation where someone's not here for 2 weeks because they're having a real crisis. We want to be supportive of those who are around us. And if you are having difficulties, please seek out people. There's a whole list of people here. We have student services. We have all the guidance counselors. A lot of them are new, but they will help. Student success, special education teachers. We have our social worker, we have our chaplain, Ms. Fitzgerald, who you saw this morning. At some point, she'll come on and talk about how she can help also. You have the administration team, teachers and coaches. Even though I did this PowerPoint presentation and talking to you and talking about all these things about you have to follow the rules, I'm here, the same as Mr. Barone and Ms. Gingrich, to help. That's why I went to this role, so I could help. I'm not just here to do the negative stuff. I like to see people who are having good days. I like to see people who are, smiling and have been awarded with, maybe you've won a championship game, or maybe you've won the new, the basketball game that's just happened or something like that, because we're going back into extracurriculars. So I want to see those good things too. I don't want to just see the discipline. And if there's something going on and I can help you and I can help direct you to the right person that can help you, then please come forward. I am approachable. I am flexible. I actually, I can be a nice guy. If it comes to discipline, I deal with it. But on the other side, I have a whole other part where I'm there to support. I'm here to help you, as are the other admin. Student parking, everyone should know who's driving a car. You've probably heard this year after year. Student parking is, from where I am right now, the east parking lot, the far side closest to the houses, not closer to the school. That's for staff. You need to go further away. You need to abide by the rules. No doing donuts and stuff, because then if something like that happens, we already have someone on film that was doing stuff inappropriate in there, and if we identify you, then you will no longer have the privilege of parking in our parking lot. When we identify you, pass it off to bylaw, and we'll ticket you if you are on property, if you've lost that privilege. I have no problem doing that. When I was at my last school, in 20 minutes on one day, I gave out 18 parking tickets. So when I say something, I follow through. Now let's go to some important dates. This, I believe, is almost my last slide. We're getting there. Picture Day is next Tuesday on the 14th. All right, so that is for everybody. Everyone has to get their picture taken, not just for yearbook, but also because that is our identification of you, is required. Picture retake, if you were absent that day, will be on October 19th. I will send out a messenger, voice mail, and email to all the students and to also to your parents with the electronic version of the Picture Day package, and also just to remind you about it. Exams for period 1 and 2 will be November 9th to 11th inclusive. Details for that will come at a later date. Timetable changes. The deadlines is Monday, September 13th. It's coming Monday. That's your deadline. If you think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4 days later, that's like 8 days of class time. All right, so that's as far as we can go for making those changes. First liturgy will be Thursday, September 23rd. More details to come. Fire drills and lockdowns, those will be determined again, like I said before. Before we head out, and look at that, it only took a half hour, not the whole hour, which is good. I want to thank Mr. Kovic and Ms. Raposo and the TNT team for starting this for today. It's early. This became like the trial run. It's like the second day of school and they're already up and running. Thank you very much. And we look forward to when we do start every day. And so in the last one, to all the Titans, have a fantastic semester. Have a great year. Work hard. Have fun. Be respectful. And we'll get through this together. God bless.